bans are live, and the first one already on the board. No surprise there, though, as Thatcher is going to be the pick of the litter yet again here, as is often the case for our attacker bans. He's knocked out, and Habana to follow it up, so a fairly meta knockout here for both of our attackers.
Yes, indeed. We'll see if that follows suit all the way through. We'll have to see what Soniqs want to remove from Empire here for the first half of play. It's going to be the Kaid, very suspected, especially with the EMPs being removed from play. A little bit of a difficult op to try and deal with when Thatcher isn't in play, so a respectable ban out of the Soniqs. What do Empire want to remove, though? It'll be the Valkyrie here, as she has still been our most hotly banned operator here at SI, just because of all of the info as well as just the kit overall. Great SMG, Nitro Cell on top of that. What more could you want as a defensive operator? Empire now, though, will be dictating where we start this map off, and, well, it's going to be a fairly straightforward affair. It's AVG, most plain Jane start to Villa that you can possibly get. We'll have to see how they want to set things up, but as of right now, it's looking fairly straightforward, especially with this Aruni working its way in. We see this from time to time on this site to lock up a couple of windows and just make the entry points a little bit difficult for, well, the Soniqs in this situation to work into.
Even the operator selects here are not going to be too surprising. Pretty much what you'd expect to see from both our attack and defensive lineups here. Plenty of mitigation coming in fact, tripling down on it for the defense here. As we're going to see Jaeger, Rooney, along with the Wamai. So all three forms of that one here. They're going to have to hope the Soniqs will. They brought enough utility to dump into that one, and unfortunately they didn't really do so. Only 4 nades and 2 smokes, so more than likely going to see most of those. There we go, operator selects being locked out. Like we said before, folks, it's going to be the exact same lineups, but our rules here are not going to allow our players to change anything up. So once more, just the same rerun of exactly what we had deployed back on that previous lock-in phase as well. So here we go, back into it yet again. Time to see if things will work out this time as Empire lock themselves into AVG. And the Soniqs look to try and assault that here. The setup shouldn't yield too many surprises just because the operator line is going to be pretty predictable too. Usual semblance of reinforcements and whatnot being deployed here. We'll see the bottom portion of that far bar wall being left soft, I think, at the beginning of this round, just to allow for a quicker rotation back from the bookcase shelf is more than likely. With the deployable shields being played out there by Shepard, we're going to see that try to be deployed over towards the main stairs position so that they can try and slow down the study clear should Soniqs attempt to go for one. They obviously want to try and have some presence on the north side too, should Soniqs try to play it out towards that way, and that's where we are going to see always and a few other members position themselves for the start of this round, as they'll be reinforcing at least the main wall to access the statuary part of the map as well.
All right, so let's see if Empire's defensive standpoint over here inside of the trophy statuary area holds true. We've been seeing some pretty interesting rounds when it comes to this site overall, especially from Damwon Gaming, that we saw work out fairly well for them. Kansan's going to take down Dan very early here on a deep cut over towards the Astros side, but he's going to take some damage in the process. Luckily enough, they still have Rex in here on the Finca, so we'll be able to buff Kansan back off, who will start us off here for round 1.
Joystick still hunting for another pickup here against the members of the Soniqs. He's going to continue to maintain this aggressive foot forward just outside of Master Bedroom, and he's got the lineup for it. Nearly got 2 there as Rexon gets dropped and traded out from the earlier kill. Kansan will look to find his own second, and nearly clips out Joystick here as he tries to work himself back into the Master Bedroom. He's on prone, but no, the intel's given, and Kansan realizes the fatal mistake he's made, but far too little time to correct it there. That's why you don't want to prone, is if your opponent sees you, it's going to take you way too long to get back up and start moving again.
Yeah, prone is broken in Rainbow Six until that happens. That's the one caveat to it. If they get solid intel, then it's just basically over for you, as you can't reposition that quickly. So Empire will negotiate 2 for 1 in favor of losing Dan, and now Empire can simply sit on this site and see what the Soniqs want to do next. They have plenty of hard breach to influence this later part of the round, and plenty of drones in order to, well, assist inside of that info department as well. Yeti will drone out 90. This is looking good for Super here. He'll more than likely apply his Selmas into this space. Does he want to put one on the panel here? Doesn't look like he does for the at least gunfault area. He'll just put an initial one and then shoot out the Selma after that to make sure that it doesn't open up a rotation. He just wants some sight lines in towards sight to make sure that people like Shepard can't rotate across games in the way that they want to.
So already 2 minutes into the round here, and Soniqs struggling to try and fight for any inch of this map here, as they do actually negotiate 90 control for themselves, but without the top stairs being cleared out, Empire has a lot of tricks to be able to use to shut this down pretty much instantly. The red rotate could come into the fold here. 2 players by front stairs that could crunch against that. Grixer reading into the rotate from Joystick, at least catches him, but Yeti already running into trouble trying to access the bar walls and get him deeper into the site. He does have Overwatch for the potential rotate back up through red, so they're certainly aware of the downstairs presence, not entirely ignorant towards it, but still their plans to open up more access points into the site. Reeks the Stag there as it's going to get mute jammed out temporarily by throwing the Selma down. Quickly, however, goes back into a progressive push here, as they'll be able to open that wall back up, but there we go. The main stairs player, an easy kill against Grixer for him to find. Yeti now down, and Super, once again, left in a clutch scenario. 1v3 put before him as he waltzes into bar. There's one. He doesn't catch the player behind him, however, so time's likely going to run out, or he'll just get locked onto the plant here. And then we'll see Shepard finish things off along with Always, as Empire claim a nice, simple, and easy first round.
A valiant effort there from Super as well. He really didn't have to do any of that. It's a 1 versus 3, but he still makes the attempt as well. Guys, this game means a lot in the current moment. We'll be able to at least negotiate 1 kill, but that's going to be it. As Joystick really putting a hamper on things early here. As, well, all of that damage coming out early, taking down the Soniqs members, and now, well, for the rest of the Soniqs, not able to really do much with that 90 control. Empire will be able to get the first round as they will shift gears on over to Trophy Statuary.
Empire with the lead built up are going to now try to carry that forward onto the expected second site here as they go into TNS and see if this one will hold itself as strongly as we saw before. Expect a little bit of play to still position itself on the south side of this map here, as more than likely the Soniqs will want to clear that back out, and if Empire can maintain those positions and find a pick or two from that department, that would be even better, but not a requirement at all. And sometimes we do see teams shying away for that and going for this type of a play instead, where they set up an extended roam down on the first floor, trying to gate the pressure from here. Soniqs, of course, with drones inside of Pantry. That does mean they'll more than likely want to try and clear this out fairly early into the round, so Joystick and Scyther expect them to be first up to bat here to fend off some of the aggression from the Soniqs, as they'll be spawning out in just a few seconds here. Finka back into play as well for Rexon, along with the Twitch pickup from Grixer here, so we're going to see a very similar lineup for the Soniqs that we have seen on previous maps. Kan's even over the comfort pick there, bringing the Zofia into play also.
Well, now we'll see if the Soniqs is able to negotiate for their very first round. Triple wall reinforced here, as you'd expect for a Trophy Statuary defense, as well as everything else in between. Empire will be holding things down downstairs. This is to be expected as well, although these rotations, definitely not the case. Scyther's got some very interesting angles to be able to utilize, especially if somebody tries to push in through Laundry. But as of right now, it'll just be him and Joystick occupying the space and awaiting the arrival of the Soniqs. Rexon will actually end up moving into this area, as he's currently inside of Pantry. Able to mark out an ADS. This door has been barricaded here as well, as begin to be shot down. Joystick looking for his frag, and he's gone fishing. Oh, he sees the side of the Zof, or rather the Finka here. Was able to deal some damage towards Rexon as he doubles back over in the LMG, trying to get some work done. He will predict Joystick's location as he removes him from play, but Kansan will go down on the other end.
Great support setup here for Empire, immediately able to exchange that. Scyther's got to be careful, though, as he's now on an island by himself, and the cutoffs are strong. No! Scyther instead rips the head off of Grixer, and that's an unexpected kill at the least here. The Soniqs will be reeling from that one, as Scyther's allowed to scurry away back up red stairs after that kill.
Well, you have kitchen control now, but was it worth 2 bodies? We'll have to see if the Soniqs are able to continue on here, as Empire is starting to put on a defensive standpoint here. Able to negotiate for those 2 frags and rotate back upstairs. Now they simply have to wait for the Soniqs and see what their next move will be. They'll hold on to the red stairwell to see if anybody wants to try and push up that space, but for the Soniqs right now, it looks as though they want to try and get in towards Master. Rexon will get rid of a piece of utility inside of the area. I believe that was a bulletproof that was inside of that space that they were able to get rid of. This mute jammer will obviously continue to hold onto the wall here for Super, but not for Yeti, who can still add a torch line to that at a moment's notice.
The rest of the Soniqs trying to build up and use their utility to get them back ahead in this round. Nades chucked out, but not a whole lot of follow-up from it. So very little damage is found. Yeti in a power position here by the bathroom, but turns his tail. That could be dangerous. Thankfully, it doesn't look like anyone on Empire notices it. So no aggressive swings to try and shut him down. The this very late point in the round here. Yeti, though, still going to have a challenge thrown out against him. He doesn't try to push himself forward against that just yet. The nades instead being primed to try and find a player back by the Astro desk. Not a huge threat from there. Of course, we are going to see Always rotate into it, so that's changed up a little bit now. But again, Soniqs, where's the play? Where's the aggression? They're pushing nothing out here. They've only got 20 seconds left. They're going to have to force themselves into this setup anyway, so why not try it a little bit earlier here and at least get some good intel to build off of? No, we will not see that. Instead, they continue to look for an opening frag, and it goes pretty much how you'd expect here now that they've been forced in. Dan Always, and Yeti doesn't even want to give away his life, but he won't have a choice as Dan finds his own personal second. Empire with a second round now up on the board to continue crawling towards 7 on this defensive half.
Very fast and decisive 2-0 here from Empire as they decide the round early on once again. The Soniqs have got to get ahead of this in the current moment, just allowing too many people to be taken out without any refrags to come through. And now the Soniqs worse for wear because of it. These offenses are just not coming easily. It's now down to dining room and kitchen for Empire's defense. They've got the pulse inside of the lineup, and they're going to stick it as we pass the 6-pick phase and enter the round. Let's see how Empire want to set things up and if they're going to be able to deal some serious damage once again to the Soniqs inside of this opening minute. We should be seeing the top hold here from Empire as Master is of the utmost importance. It'll be a double Kona station set up inside of tarps here as well.
Dan going to throw the third one down onto the interior of the dining room hold here, just to boost that position a little bit for anybody that's trying to play into this into a late round spot. Obviously, that'll be a strong contention point for Soniqs to try and swing into as well. Usually the execute point, especially for North American teams here through Laundry, so great capability to try and keep that player alive for an extra shot or two should things get a little bit hairy inside of that last 30 or 40 seconds, which we would probably expect it to come down to here. Soniqs, once again, still building up towards that slow roll to execute, looking to try and play for a very safe execute as well by building off of their drone intel all the way until those dying 30 seconds are reached here, where they then want to force themselves in. This unfortunately has not led to a whole lot of success, though, as in the first 2 rounds, Empire just sat back, not oblige the aggressive angles that Soniqs try to hold there, keep their own players alive, and then when Soniqs push in, just shut them down, nice and easy.
Yes, indeed, and we'll see if Scyther's able to do this once again here, currently 2-0, but he's immediately rotating off of the master space. That is such a dangerous area to be early on, especially as the offensive onslaught starts to pour into that room. So that's exactly why he'll leave the area instead, but obviously he still wants to try and contest, so he'll play inside of statuary along with Always in this location. We'll be holding on to this for a time. They have Dan all the way off to the south side over towards study. We could see him punch this window very soon. Well, actually, it's already open, so he's ahead of the game here, John, as he's looking out towards that master balcony to see if he can find any influence. And Nadow will get rid of the mute jammer there as the Selma goes down for super, and he'll open a very important angle. But Joystick, a nitro cell out to be able to get rid of that, so you won't be able to cross through it, but it's still the vision that they need. And oh no, not
3
like
rounds
this.
in a row like this.
Scyther, 2 kills early on, and once again, as you just said, John, this is not looking hot for the Soniqs. This could be the round.
3 rounds consecutively now, where Empire's been able to strike true here, pick up the first kill, and for the most part, suffer minimal losses in the exchange here, and outright just hold the advantage, as we see it on the previous 2. Finally, Yeti gets himself on the right foot forward, though, by finding Dan, and a very dangerous access point here, as he's going to be able to find free access to white tarps. Doesn't have the full room just yet, though, and that's the big potential issue here, is he won't have the confidence to swing on a bicycle just yet, so kind of locked in here until either Super or Grixer gets in a position to support his push.
Always a pretty interesting room, especially with the rotation that you can have through that little wood panel that you guys just saw on your screen. But yeah, always very contested as well, as you can hear the angles being opened above Yeti right now. He's like, is there somebody here? Yeah, there's somebody here.
Notice.
Always has a very nice angle and more than likely a dead Yeti if he crosses. Oh, does he find him? Yes, he does. Yeti, I thought he heard it, and I thought that he saw the break in the floor, but just seemingly unaware. And now Grixer and Super, a lot to do.
There's no respect right now being given over to the members of the Soniqs, as the Soniqs themselves ignore some of these extended setups and are constantly paying the price for it. Grixer, some good
Grixer.
intel, waltzes right up. That's an easy one there, as he opens up the laundry play for Super to at least potentially push in through that avenue. But only 30 seconds left here. This is winnable for the Soniqs here, especially with that most recent trade, putting it down to a 2v3. Grixer maintains top-down control, but there is still another player in Astra that could come back to bite them at a later point here. They'll both fall back to the outer portion of the laundry door here. Grixer looking to maybe reinsert himself himself, but that goes right into Shepard's hands. Hook, line, and sinker. The second kill follows it up as well. Empire start to unlock the sites they've already won.
Such a dominant showing from Empire so far as they are taking it to the North American squad that seriously needs some help in the moment. We'll have to see if the tac timeout possibly assists them as Empire will shift gears on over to AVG and see if they can do it all over again and stop this third map early on in its tracks. Luckily enough, the Soniqs, time and time again, have fought back from this deficit, so there's still an opportunity here for them in order to do so. It's going to be a pretty routine setup here for Empires. They'll be applying their utility around the space. Always will lock up the single panel here, as well as still having those Aruna gates on joystick to lock up a couple of these doors and force Soniqs to give away some more utility if they do want to access that entry point.
So, similar setup also going to be deployed here by Empire. Lots of mitigation coming in. All three of the Nade Eaters have been brought into the lineup for Empire once again, as they're going to have the Wilmai discs, the Jaeger ADSs, as well as those laser gates to try and shred through the utility set of the Soniqs. And once again, Soniqs really not having enough of their own utility to be able to deal with this, but what they do have is the Twitch drone here, which can just knock a lot of that mitigation down outright. And a much better start to this round being found. Rexon walking right in through the front door. It's a quick follow-up too. Rexon misses the top stairs player though. No! It turns around so quickly, and it gets even worse from there as joystick assists and fending off the potential study retake there. The refrag that could have happened on the top stairs player. Soniqs, less than a minute into the round, have already lost 3 out of 5 of their roster and have only traded out a single kill.
Rushes are good and rushes are fun, but sometimes they're not good fun, and that's exactly what's going to happen inside of this. 3 bodies down for the Soniqs early, and once again, a lot to do inside of a 2 versus 4 here. Able to find some information, but they definitely already knew Shepard was inside of this space after losing 2 bodies early to him. Grixer now will get off of the rappel and try and negotiate for the space below him, but he'll hop on drone first to make sure that no one is around the area. And this is just looking bleak for the Soniqs in the moment. As for Empire, though, I mean, my God, time and time again, they're able to deal some very serious blows to the Soniqs, and once again, looking to take round 4 here and go up 4 rounds to 0. Grixer is going to shift across the map as he'll end up going up Astronomy in through Mudroom, but he's been discovered by the default cam that's still up inside of the space.
Grixer and Super here trying to work basically against the world as, yeah, Dan is dead, but everyone else in the site is alive. And unfortunately, I don't believe that Twitch drone run from Rexon really dealt with a whole lot of the utility. You can see there's still 2 ADSs as well as 1 laser gate blocking off access over here through Death's Door. So they're going to have a lot of work cut out for them. Even with Grixer having access to the second one, it'll try to sneak itself in. But as you can see, not a lot being deleted here. Joystick primed and ready to go from the top of the map table. And once he sees 2 sets of tracers, he's going to know he won't even have to be worried about his backside. More than likely his teammates to watch out for that also. So he'll feel pretty safe here as there you go. Lasering out Super as he goes down. The last player, Grixer, can't even peek the doorway anymore as it's been toxiced out. He's going to try to chuck in the smoke, but banks it off the wall. Another one bleeds too close to him, and there we go as he's flooded into the open. Joystick finishes out the round. It is Empire making a dominating run here on Villa. 4 rounds in a row, and the Soniqs haven't even come close to trading one out yet.
Yeah, and the Soniqs, they're up the creek without the paddle right now. No tac timeout in order to assist them. It's going to be all down to the IGLing of Super to get them out of this, as it's starting to look like the lower bracket will be their home for Friday. Won't be able to use that break like Empire will more than likely be able to if they continue on this warpath. It's trophy statuary now for Empire as they continue to extend this lead.
Now, we have seen some comebacks in the past 2 maps, but this is going to start to be asking a little bit too much of the Soniqs if they can't negotiate both of these upcoming rounds here, as they'll always, of course, just be repeats of the sites that Empire already won. That's going to leave Empire with a dominating scoreline. Even the side advantage being considered won't be, at least in my book, enough of an argument to justify Soniqs' comeback. They're going to have to really find some heroic plays here to be able to get them back into this map and in this series if they want to keep this upper bracket run alive here with the way that Empire is currently strangling out all these attacks.
Well, only Dan really suffering the consequences of Soniqs' offensive side. Everyone else able to blow Soniqs away every single time they end up swinging through. Empire going to hold on to the basement yet again here, or rather the kitchen dining space. This worked out pretty handily for them the last time. This is where we ended up seeing the cross from Joystick and one other op from Empire that were able to hold on to this for the time being. Ended up getting 2 big kills onto the Soniqs inside of this area, and once again, not able to find their mark. So we'll see if the Soniqs can change it up this time around as they clamber up towards the master balcony.
We're going to start to see some of the members of Empire extended out here. That Twitch drone dart will be seen by Dan. Not going to see any player to follow it up so quickly, however, as the Soniqs have yet to work their way in through Art Studio. Grixer still well outside the window, trying to maybe catch, as he probably saw Dan at some point there before the drone was pushed away, but yeah, now Grixer really trying to reaffirm that as well before he potentially crosses away from this one, waiting to see if there's any hope of him maybe catching Dan, but looks like they're both going to just safely back away from each other here, and Dan will start to slowly crawl back towards the site now that a minute or so of the round has been wasted.
Yes, indeed, and a much slower start here for both of these teams. Empire with no huge picks to consider here early on, especially since Soniqs haven't been able to show face. Simply waiting outside of the building for the current moment. Rexen will be the first one in. There's a hole above this angle here as a nade goes out, but it won't be able to collect anything except the central battery for that. So we'll see if they want to end up applying utility to that space. Instead, it'll initially go down inside of the master closet here, as they'll be able to make a rotate. Intro's out now, or rather a frag grenade be able to hold on to that. Looks like the Selma will be able to at least get the bottom of that panel open here for the Soniqs, as already halfway through this round. Nades out towards construction now, and Rexen finally able to find a kill for the Soniqs inside of the opening minutes.
Unfortunate for Dan, as I think he actually just got to this position here and has already found himself to be the ugly duckling in terms of positioning here, has unfortunately become victim of a very well-placed nade, working itself in for the Soniqs. First time to get an opening kill here, I do believe, as well, that is not going to be immediately exchanged out by the members of Empire at a minimum. A minute left, though, and again, this is where I'm going to start to get worried for the Soniqs' sake, as they have struggled to continue to maintain this position. Other big problem, look at the top right of your screen now, folks. All drones have been used from the Soniqs. They have none left, and there's still 45 seconds left to play.
Fortunately, I think they have a singular Twitch drone that I saw Kansan just get on, so maybe some intel that they can possibly use here inside of the last minute, but it's going to be risky either way. They've gotten the player off the Astro window now as well, so it's going to be a fairly straightforward affair here now as the Soniqs have to get going. Yet he started to take some damage, and a very serious kill here from Joystick to equalize. Shepard will continue to hold onto the bathroom door. Scyther to take down Grixer as well. Scyther to take down quite a few. Super to finally fight back, but Shepard's got him. It's all up to Kansan inside of the bathroom. He'll double back. Here's the cases on concrete. It's a 2 versus 1. He can indeed achieve this if he can find the first frag. That bulletproof, though, is going to tell where he is as he tries to stick this plant, and more than likely will die here in a moment. Shepard to swing out in 5 rounds in a row for the Empire squad.
Trades are strong, at least for the Soniqs this time. They can contend with the numbers, but once more, it is not enough. By the time we reach the end point of the round here, they have no positioning and no time left to be able to try and fake out the plant and give them access to a potential clutch there. 5-0 is the run now being made from Empire, with a very plausible 6-0 sitting in front of them if they can claim one final round on this defensive side. This is a huge fall from grace for the Soniqs. Not the performance that we would have expected to come out from this team given the way they played in the first 2 maps, but they have been stunted here. Cannot get anything going on this attacking side. Like I said, coming a little bit closer on that last round, but nowhere near close enough to negotiate site control here, as we're going to return to a kitchen hold for the final round of the half.
Yes, indeed. And past that, a 6 pick for Shepard here, as he's going to be applying these frost mats very early on. One's going immediately down inside of the pantry space, as this is usually an area that won't really be checked out initially. They'll check out what's going on inside of the site and try and hop the window, and more than likely lose their life because of it. But we'll have to see what the Soniqs are able to do. Past that, it looks like they've identified a lot of the hot spots that Soniqs like to use for this site, and that's where all of these frost mats are going. One's going to go inside a bike. Definitely could see one over here inside of the mudroom as well on that single window, but we'll have to see what Shepard has in mind. As for the Soniqs, though, only moments away from getting back onto the map, and also with a 6 pick coming in from Grixer, who has been dead quiet since that very first map where he dropped some very serious numbers on Coastline. Was not the same player when it came to club, and is currently sitting at 2-5.
Soniqs are out on the map here, looking to clear out. Some of these early holds from Empire. Not necessarily too keen on flushing out anything over on the second floor, though, despite the fact that, again, we're going to see the roster. Actually, no sledge to be seen here for our attackers. Never mind. Not really trying to build in towards that at all. Of course, the team mainly wants to focus on the site, their pantry entrance, as well as a few other key areas on the map. Rexon will head upstairs and start positioning himself here, and Grixer has already made a successful insertion towards the basement. So, going to look to carry this position forward, see if he can lurk over towards either red stairs or another pivotal position here to maybe catch some of the members of Empire. But will Dan, or Shepard for that matter, be watching out for it? That's now the next question here, as Grixer wants to push his own drone forward. This is all on him right now, not relying on any support from his teammates to be able to make any more forward push and gain any further map control for the team.
Who needs a team when you've got a knock and some drones to be able to push yourself forward? We'll see if the utility from him can possibly assist as that hell presence gets turned back on. Going to climb up red right now. Has some good audio cues as well, but not extremely aware of where the positioning could be. Always also seemingly aware that somebody could be downstairs. That could have been the end of Grixer, but fortunately for him, he'll double back and start working towards the other end of the basement. For the Soniqs now, they're starting to clear out some of this utility on site. Thankfully to Kansan, he's got the lifeline, so he'll pop open that laser gate as well as get rid of some of the utility initially right outside of the laundry door. Super will be able to apply his Selma charges, and they've also found that welcome mat downstairs in the pantry stairwell, so no one will end up being taken out, at least in that sense.
Grixer, though, still moving forward.
Oh, super unfortunate.
Yep, he's got a barricade blocking his way there, so not going to be able to safely proceed past that, even with the drone support here. Make too much noise would give him away, and no. Even with the rotation, Joystick puts him on ice, shuts him down. The Nitro's out. I think he got shot, though, so no boom to follow that one up. But either way, a clean opener being picked up by Empire, and again, Soniqs are running low on time to get into the site.
Just super unfortunate for the Soniqs right now. Like, I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news, but Empire have just been running amok on this map, and this is not my NA colors bleeding through. I just really want to see a game between these two. It's unfortunate that we've reached this point, but Empire's just been so very dominant as they continue on. Shepard will take down Kansan, Dan to find one of his own, and it's down to the 2 versus 4 now. They have to try and fight out with only 20 seconds remaining. Already has the pantry rotation shut down, as well as Yeti's once again looking towards Bike, but if he hops in, is he going to jump into the frost mat? He will indeed. He gets taken down, and Empire with a clean 6-0 half.
Fatal mistake potentially being made for the folks on the Soniqs by allowing this map to stay in the pool. Felt they were ready for it, but unfortunately, very straightforward attacking lineups here and strategies to follow suit as well, with maybe 1 or 2 players trying to act as the curveball like we saw there with the Nook play, trying to work itself in from the basement, putting way too much pressure on 1 or 2 players here to save the rest of the team's assault. And if 1 or 2 of those players end up going awry, they end up dying or something like that, they're not really left with any alternate plan. Like I said, incredibly one-dimensional attacks, just kind of waltzing right into the site, trying to force the issue on every single round, that it goes exactly as you would expect. Empire never really feeling challenged in their setup, sit back, casually rip them to shreds every single time, and a very well-deserved 6-0 lineup is picked up here in the first half here. Only 1 out of the next 6 needs to be claimed by Empire, and the series is theirs, and they'll have a date with destiny against TSM in the upper bracket finals.
What an incredible series that has reached up to this point. It's a 6-0 lead now for Empire, something I did not think that we'd be seeing coming into Villa. I thought this would be hotly contested, but obviously not. Empire just different breeds when it comes to this map in the current moment. Now we'll have to see if the Soniqs can get a long path ahead of them solved, as, well, as of right now, it's a perfect half that's required for them and not a single person on solid footing when it comes to the frag department. For Empire, though, I mean, you gotta be happy for them. A 6-0 half is nothing to scoff at, and one that they continually were able to just damn Soniqs, not even inside of the opening minute, even though it did happen from time to time, but also forcing them into these low time executes that simply will not work. It's very unfortunate for them, as time and time again, Empire were able to find their mark inside of those opening minutes and take down some very serious members of the Soniqs. And now a very fast-moving offense here from Empire's Joysticks, already in through laundry, through dining, and through tarps with a drone ahead of him.
So not going to see a whole lot of action here. I doubt the Sonics are going to be too confident to make any types of crazy plays here inside of their defensive half. They need to be oh so careful, as if they lose too many players inside of the early round here, they are done and dusted and won't be able to defend the interior of the site here. Despite that, though, we are going to see a hold downstairs, and that's bad news. Yeti being isolated out. Can't do anything to trade that out either here, as the nade is clean from down below here. No one in position to find that yet. Yeti is nearby, however, over towards Library, so he's going to know that there's presence by White Tarps and Kitchen, and will try to trade that back out. He's been found over Joystick, is given a chance to duck away here, and he's not even going to re-challenge it. He's gone here, giving Grixer, unfortunately, a lost opportunity for a trade. As I correct myself there, it's Grixer here, not Yeti.
Well, yeah, Yeti already 6 feet under in this situation. Fortunately for Grixer, though, he won't take any damage on the back end of that engagement. It'll be Joystick instead with another nade out here into Rexon's location. He'll back away here as the Goyo shield goes off. Another nade out here, but Rexon's playing the cross here for split. Are they aware that he's in this area now? He looks away at the last second. The timing, truly insane from Always, as he's gifted yet another kill. Dan picks up Kansan, and oh, this is not looking good, John. The Sonics not able to kill a single member of Empire just yet, and only 1 minute and 10 seconds remain in order for them to try and shut this down.
Empire looking to make a statement to end this series, and they just might get it done here. A 2v5 needs to be won out here. Super needs to summon his strength yet again, and Grixer needs to come back into this fight here, just like we saw on map number 1, but it might just be asking too much of this roster as we enter the final minute of play. Super's leaned out. He wants the fight. So does Grixer, but he can't maintain as he's flushed out by 2 different players. Super, the only one left. He can fend out a Gemini clone, but he can't stop the plan. It's a flawless round from Empire, and a perfect map as well. 7-0 in map number 3 as they push themselves into the grand finals of the upper bracket against TSM.
How do we even get to this moment for Empire after the first 2 maps that we witnessed? An 8-6 victory for